Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com. Welcome to the podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. Today I've got the good fortune to be joined with Greg Mohr, the Franchise Maven. Greg, thank you so much for joining us.
Seth, it is an honor. Thank you, sir.
Well, I appreciate that. Let's go back in time because I don't think, like let's say at 8 years old, you woke up and said, I want to be a franchise maven when I grow up. So how did you get started?
Actually, back there was in high school. So a little past 8 years old, not too long. But back in high school, I had to get a job somewhere. So most of us back in my day got a job at fast food. Mine just so happened to be Taco Bell. I moved up in the Taco Bell world, became a manager. And unbeknownst to my time, I started working for a master franchisor. Her name was Kathy, and she owned 50 Taco Bells throughout the Sacramento, California area. And I just managed her restaurants for her, built them up, and that was my first foray into franchising.
Well, congratulations on that. How did we get from working at a franchise and then managing to what you're doing today? I'm sure there's a little bit of a story in between.
Just a little bit, Seth. I'll keep it kind of brief. It's a long period between the times there. So 15 years in the restaurant business, moved up, did that for a while, got bored with that, decided I wanted to do something else, went back to school. I got a degree in electrical engineering and physics, became a microelectronic circuit engineer, did that for 15 years, then got a degree, an MBA degree, master's degree in business. While I was doing that, read Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, realized that the corporate world was not for me anymore. So he ruined my corporate career for me. And I decided that I got to go out there and do something myself. So in the meantime, a friend of mine, another engineer and myself, we bought dry cleaners, we bought storage units, we had rental properties. So we were running businesses on the side. We both got out of the corporate world at the same time. And I said to myself, that private business is okay, but boy, that's a lot of work trying to figure things out for yourself. I really like that franchising gig. That was a lot of fun. Sold half of all my business to my friend, the other engineer who took over those. I went in and said, I got to get a franchise. I went click happy all over the internet trying to find the perfect franchise for me. I had about 20 franchise development people calling me. It was mind-boggling to say the least. Finally got a hold of a franchise consultant who then worked together very systematically with me to find a great franchise for myself. I got into a Schooling Mitchell telecommunications consulting franchise. Did that for a few years. And then I said, went back to that franchise consultant. I said, I like what you do. You get to work from home. You get to work with great people all over the United States and basically all over the world, helping them go into business for themselves, realizing their dream. Teach me what you do. I want to do that. That was 10, 12 years ago, and I haven't looked back since.
Well, I am sure the longer version of that story could probably be in a book somewhere if it isn't already. So what exactly does a franchise maven do?
What we do is people come to us. What do I mean by people? Aspiring entrepreneurs, seasoned entrepreneurs, anybody that's looking to go into business for themselves, specifically through franchising. They do not know necessarily which franchise they want to get into. That's where I come in. I work with about 500 or more different franchises. I know some of the best franchises in all the different industries out there. And I'm like Match.com and Realtor.com all rolled into one on that. So I get to know my people. I get to know you, Seth. You come to me and you say, I want to get into the world of franchising. I have no idea how to get involved in it. I say, Seth, here's a list of, some things we're going to do. First step in the process, ask me anything you want about myself. Ask me anything you want about franchising. I make certain that, you've got a right mind track for what a franchise can actually do for you in reality. I have then you fill out a questionnaire. We go through that questionnaire. I ask you a bunch of questions. I get to know you, Seth, as well as I can. And then What I do is I take all that information you've given me, what you're looking for in a franchise, what you want to get out of it, where have you been, where are you at now, where do you want to be, what are you looking to invest time-wise, what are you comfortable investing money-wise, what kind of a culture you're looking for. And then I go back through my list of franchises and I come up with about 5 or 10 different opportunities where those franchises who I speak to on a regular basis are looking for people just like you, Seth, and you're looking for people just like them. I then present you with the opportunities. We go through those, narrow it down to 2 or 3, and then we start going through the franchise investigation process together to determine, one, is franchising right for you to begin with? And if it is, which franchise is right for you?
So if I am the potential franchisee, I'm the one looking to buy a franchise. How does it work? Do I pay you? How do you get paid?
Good point. What everybody asked me. So I'm free to you, Seth. You don't pay me anything. The franchisors actually pay me a referral fee if you decide to invest in one of the franchises I introduce you to. Even if you don't, that's fine. By the time you're through with me, you'll know how to investigate every franchise in the US, but I'm free to you. Franchisors pay me a referral fee.
So forgive the analogy. It's almost like you're an independent insurance broker, let's say, who isn't working 24/7 as a W-2 guy for Geico and can only help you with Geico. It's somebody independent who can say, I can shop every single insurance company and get you the best deal on the insurance that you want. You're saying, I'm not married to any particular franchise. I can help you go sift and sort through 500 of them to find the perfect one for you. And when the deal is consummated, the franchisor pays me because I helped you find them. Is that accurate?
Absolutely 100% accurate, Seth. Yes.
What are some of the biggest misconceptions people have when it comes to the world of franchises?
One that you're going to be rich in a year or two. You won't. It does take time to get that on that one. It does take a little time to build up. There's a little bit of risk involved, as there is with any business. Probably one of the biggest misconceptions I get from my people when they first call me is that franchising is a full-time effort and it costs $1 million to invest in the franchise itself. So Seth, when you and I, we're driving around, we see all those franchises out there, McDonald's, Burger King, Meineke, Mako, Supercuts, Great Clips. Those are brick and mortar franchises on those ones. They do cost a little bit more to invest in those. You're looking at $300,000 on up for something like that. Brick and mortar, that's what we call them. You build it, they will come. The general theme on that one. There's a lot of service industry franchises that people don't necessarily know about. Total investment for those is around $150,000, give or take, on those. And that's where your clients don't necessarily know you exist until they need you. And that's where a great franchise system will drive people to you when the need arises on that. Any of these franchises, any of these industries that we look into, I can find ones where you can be a semi-absentee owner. You do not have to do it full time. Just like I did with my friend when we were in engineering. We did ours on the side. There's many franchises where they have a model where you could put in 10, 15 hours a week, managing the manager, managing the profit and loss statements. So you can keep your day job, you can keep your other business, and you can just build that up until you're ready to step away.
That sounds like a fantastic deal. That's one of the misconceptions, is that you're going to be rich overnight or rich in a year or two. What are some of the biggest mistakes people make when attempting to, grow their wealth through franchising?
First off is don't let what's in fashion cloud your judgment. Just because you see it's busy right now doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be busy next year. You got to know how they make their money, how they're going to build year after year, how that business model runs. You don't have to know the industry that you're getting into, but you have to have some interest in it, and you'll get to know the industry. So always get to know the industry that you're looking into. Whenever you're looking at a franchise system, whenever you're investigating a franchise system, whether it's through me or by yourself, talk to as many different franchisees as you can so you can get a good feel for that. Always talk to as many different franchisees as you can. Picture yourself doing what they do, especially the top earners. If you can do that, if you can picture yourself doing what they do, you're probably on the right track. If you can't, time to move on to another franchise or hire somebody that's going to do that for you. Always take advantage of people that don't charge you anything for advisors, like the SCORE chapter, SCORE, your local SCORE chapter that you have in your town. Most people have it. I had it in mind when I was looking at it, and I ran some ideas by them. Do that. Take advantage of those people as well. Our funding people, you can take advantage of our funding people. They know which franchises out there, which industries are doing better than others as far as success rates on those. I know we had a run-in a little while back with some of the yogurt franchises where there's so many of them. After a while, they weren't doing so good. So our funding people really knew which which industries are doing well and which ones aren't. And then always take advantage of and don't dismiss funding. Always consider funding. Use your own money, 401k rollover, self-directed, IRA rollover on that. You can use your money on that or SBA loan, HELOCs, but don't dismiss funding and make certain that you know what capital is required from that franchise. The franchise will have it in their basic documents as far as what your required net worth is going to be. So they want to make certain that you don't run out of money.
If you look through, Entrepreneur Magazine or a Small Business Success Magazine, every page is, almost every page has ads for this is the hottest opportunity. This is the franchise of the year. This is the next great thing. Obviously, they can't all turn into the next Chipotle or the next McDonald's. How do you weed it out? How do you filter through the noise and figure out what's the real deal and what's going to work?
If you're okay with a lot of risk and you want to get into emerging franchise, then take a look at their business model, figure out how they're making money and how they're going to do the same thing year after year on that. So if you're making a product like food, for instance, cookies, cakes, ice cream, that sort of thing, some will do good, but a lot of them won't time after time. Because you got to think about what people are going to need year in, year out on that one. So they may look good. I myself wouldn't mind owning a chocolate shop, but if I'm going to do that, I'm going to put it somewhere where it's in a high tourist area where tourists are there all year round. So because normally when the economy starts going down, some of these things aren't going to be as popular. People are going to stay away from those. Essential services are something that if you really want to get into a business and you're really looking for longevity on that one, think about the things that people are going to need no matter what. No matter what happens, you're going to need your plumbing. Your neighbors aren't going to appreciate it if your plumbing goes bad and you have to go to the bathroom outside. That's just not going to look good on that. Nobody wants that. Your HVAC, your heating and air conditioning, if that goes out, no matter where you are, you're going to get that fixed no matter what. Southern states, Texas, Florida, you're not going to do without that AC. So think about those sort of things as far as the essential services of what people need all the time, no matter what the economy is doing. They may not be the most sexiest jobs or businesses in the world on that one, but they sure are solid enterprises and they will withstand the test of time.
That makes a lot of sense. What are some of the most interesting franchises that have come across your desk where you're like, I can't believe that's a thing?
Yeah, I can't believe it's a thing, and it actually makes a lot of money. Pest or waste management on that one. That one was pretty wild on that one when that one first came across it. So do you like animals? Do you like the great outdoors? Well, I've got a franchise just for you. You can pick up after animals. So when people look at that, the first thing they think is, homeowners and picking up after their dogs in the backyard, which is a good part of their business. But what they don't realize then is that who else needs them? Golf courses. You're not necessarily picking up after pets because those geese out there on the golf courses aren't anybody's pets, but they still have to be cleaned up after. Parks, another one, huge business actually out there. It's one of those dirty jobs that people just don't like doing. So that one was pretty amazing. And then I was amazed at the numbers that they were doing when they first came on the market out there, how well that each one of those franchisees were doing on that. The other one that people don't think about as kind of a gruesome one is crime scene cleanup on that one. Somebody has to take care of that. Again, one of those dirty jobs. Mike Rowe, if you ever watch that, he's out there doing those things that not everybody likes doing, but somebody's got to clean that mess up. And that is a franchise out there. There's a couple different franchises out there for crime scene cleanup that you can do. And you're not going to have a whole lot of competition.
That is absolutely fascinating. I never would have guessed those. What about how important is location to where the franchise gets placed? And does the franchisor help us?
Any great franchise system, Seth, will have an outstanding real estate team. There's going to be two aspects to that on the real estate team. If you're getting into a brick and mortar that requires a great location, A+ real estate location, then Seth, what you want is you want that franchisor to pick it out for you because you are the one that's going to be the business manager running the business. You are not going to be that prime real estate guy or girl that you go out there and do that. So any great franchise system will have a real estate team that's going to do that for you. Not only find the location, but they're probably going to find 2 or 3 locations, and then they'll go over them with you. Here's the locations we picked out, got exactly the right amount of traffic. How do you feel about each one of these? Do you like any of them better? The second aspect to that is they have to do a little lease negotiation. You're not necessarily the best lease negotiator. So you might not think of things like if you put your pretzel franchise in the strip mall, did you remember on the lease agreement to say you can't put any more pretzel franchises in that same strip mall? Little things like that. So you want a great franchise system to find the real estate and do the lease negotiation for you.
So you work with over 500 different franchises. How do you keep it all straight?
I talk to them on a regular basis. So there's many different industries. So within the different industries, I'll have 2 or 3 or 4 different franchises with each one that I talk to on a regular basis that I know are doing well. Each franchise gives out a protected territory on that so that no other franchisee, 95% of them do, so that no other franchisees can come into that territory. So when I'm looking for franchises for people, I have to see if there's territory available. Somebody else hasn't bought it up. So I have to know probably 3 or 4 different franchises within each industry. And I talk with them on the phone. I go out and visit with them at their locations as well to get to know them, get to know their team pretty well, so that I have a list of different franchises that I can present to people at any given point in time for whatever industry people get into, because my people are so varied. You never know which type of franchise or which industry is going to be of interest to them.
I'm sure it varies all over the map, but what's the average time selling cycle if someone says, hey, I'm interested in talking about buying a franchise, to the time when, they actually sign on the dotted line and fly to Hamburger University, for lack of a better example?
Yeah, Seth, that's about, starting with me, you're looking at 2 to 3 months. Probably 3 months is about average from start to where you sign your agreement. And then at that point in time, it's going to depend on service industry. You can get started right away. Brick and mortar will just take a little while longer to get built out. So you're looking at a few months down the road after that.
You've achieved so much success over over a decade plus helping people. What's your biggest challenge now?
Oh, just finding people to getting in front of the people. A lot of people really just don't know franchise consultants exist. I didn't know back when I did it, 12 years ago. I had no idea franchise consultants existed until I found one, and they made the process so simple for me. So just getting people to know that we exist, we don't charge anything, we're just there to help. That is the biggest thing, getting my message out there, that I'm here about educating people on franchising.
That makes a lot of sense. Your passion is obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing?
All the different people I get to work with. It is so fascinating, Seth. All the different people from all over the world, from all walks of life that I get to work with. They keep me going every day, because I meet somebody new and different that I've never heard of, never heard them do whatever they do, the things that they do. It's just absolutely fascinating.
For our folks who are watching and listening and might want to learn more, where is the best place for them to learn more about you and about the Franchise Maven?
You can go to my website, franchisemaven.com. That's franchise, M-A-V as in Victor, E-N.com. Email me at greg@franchisemaven.com, or just pick up the phone and give me a call at 361-772-6401.
All right. We greatly appreciate your time. We know it's incredibly valuable. This has been Seth Greene with Greg Mohr, the Franchise Maven. Greg, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Seth. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening. We will talk to you or see you next time.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.